Coach Craig here. Dan Sullivan, man, I mention him a lot. He's like my favorite human right now. And he speaks about freedom to and freedom from. By the way, strategic coach, check him out. And always want to give him props and love. So, freedom from, freedom to, these are his concepts. And so I'm going to expand into one niche of freedom from. So the idea is that freedom from, to me, feels like defense, as if you're like wrapped up in chains and you need to free yourself from those chains. And then freedom to is much more expansive. It's like, now that I'm free, I am free to, explore the universe in whatever domain that is. And so freedom from is useful when thinking about what I call cognitive sludge. And so cognitive sludge is that stuff that lives in our mind rent-free that we need to be able to get out of our minds in order to get us to a point where we're free. And so freedom from cognitive sludge there's two aspects to that. One is, how do I prevent cognitive sludge from ever emerging in the first place? And number two is, how do I get rid of cognitive sludge once I have it? And so for the first one, that has to do with really, really being clear on what you commit to. And every time you say yes to something, there's a potential for more cognitive sludge. And here's the thing about cognitive sludge. It only emerges on things that are in our circle of concern. Like, we never have cognitive sludge about the atmosphere on the surface of Mars, unless you're sending a Mars rover there or something. But like, for the vast majority of us, it's not like, oh my God, I'm really concerned about the rings of Saturn, right? Those aren't things that impact us on a significant level. And so it's always about things that bother us, things that are in our circle of concern. And so sometimes we just need to not accept so many things into our circle of concern. And the way that we just stop the flow of things into our circle of concern is we set up boundaries and we say, sorry, not going to do that. I'm not going to commit to that. I'm not going to take ownership of that. I'm not going to be responsible for that. And so that's on the front end. And then on the back end, once we have cognitive sludge and it's there, personally, I'm a tactile left brainer. So when I write something down physically, like in a journal, it seems to allow my mind more freedom than if I digitally put it into a document. So you can have a spreadsheet, it's up to you, however you want to do it, but I would encourage you to do a thought purge. And so whether you do that in a journal or you do it in a spreadsheet, find a quiet place and just purge any of these thoughts that are there that have been lingering for days or weeks, and it's usually more than a day that these things, otherwise it hasn't sort of created sludge yet. It hasn't sort of gotten its tentacles in yet. There always seems to be a temporal component to sludge. So when you write it down, oftentimes if you can do that for a long enough period of time, an hour, 2 hours, or whatever, what you'll find is that what you thought was just this unbelievably overwhelming never-ending list of things is like, oh, it's just 23 things, right? Or whatever it is. And you're like, oh, so the cognitive sludge is actually like finite. It isn't an endless stream. So that's my call to action for you to get rid of existing cognitive sludge, is to just do a brain purge. Completely, find the time to do that, carve out the time, do whatever you need to do. Hope this is helpful. Coach Craig out.